It's that time again. Grab a friend, sit down, no wind a bit. Tack a J, keeping it real. Can't you see the appeal? They got the jokes, the smoke, and the current events. You know the deal. Soak up that lemon water, tell all your friends. Encouragement for your flourishment is where we begin. Have you heard of it? It's sustenance. Where have you been? Free your mind.
Welcome back to another episode of the Lemon Water Chronicles podcast, man. I'm your host, Tack. Today, we have Navod the Nomad on the show, man. Like, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? Feeling good. What about yourself?
I'm in here, man. It's an honor to have you on the show, first off. You've been traveling the world. I'll give the backstory on how this episode came together. So I took a cross-country trip to help a frat brother of mine move his stuff. He got a new job and all that. And so I was really inspired by that. At the end of that trip, ironically, I came across Navod's profile and he was doing his thing. And I was like, wow, man, I just did something like that. I mean, I was moving somebody, but long story short, man, like van life. That's the theme. Like, this is like the van life episode. What is van life, man? Like, let the world know.
Yeah, man. So it's really just taking and minimizing your belongings into a vehicle. So you're taking a vehicle and building it out into an RV, basically.
Yeah.
And then using that vehicle to be able to travel the world and just be able to, fulfill your passions and just see things you never seen before. So it's just really about just grabbing life by the lapels, man, and just really going out there, getting outside of your comfort zone.
So what's like, okay, before we jump into it, like a question I like to ask every guest that comes on the show, you've heard the term, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, over here we say when life gives you lemons, make lemon water. So what's a key time, or have you found yourself making lemon water out of the lemons that life will give you?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to do that in this lifestyle because it's so unpredictable.
Right.
So I've been out on the road for a year and a half now. So we've had everything from the van getting towed with my dog in it and him getting taken to the pound and I have to go run around the city to find him, to my transmission going out, to like, we've seen it all. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it all. So it's like, that's really what this journey is about. So it's kind of, when I seen the name, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, because it's like, that's really what this journey is about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Taking those lemons that pop up and, making something sweet out of it. So.
Okay. And I'm jumping around here, but like, tell us more about who Navod is, like yourself, like where you're from and stuff like that. If someone first met you, how would you do that intro?
Yeah, definitely, man. My name is Navod the Nomad, aka Navod Amir. I'm 28 years old, I'll be 29 soon. So yeah, outside of the van life thing, I was working in corporate America for the last 10 years, working in finance. And so I've been working remote maybe for the last 4 or 5 years. And so just when the pandemic kind of started, I needed a project. So I just jumped out there and just decided to buy a van. And then here we are 2 years later. So I just say, like, I'm a really adventurous person. If I get locked in on something or a goal, you know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. Like, I tried to hire somebody to do part of the build and they flaked.
Oh,
so the day that they flaked, I went to Lowe's and bought tools and bought wood and I got started myself and I had never built anything. So it's just like, that's just me. I don't care what it is.
Thanks.
If I say I'm going to do it, it's getting done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, anybody that knows me, that's just kind of how I've always led my life. So it's like, me doing something like this wasn't too crazy to the people that know me most,
Right.
So, but yeah, man, that's me. I'm an adventurous go-getter, I guess.
Oh yeah, you gotta be. I mean, shit, you gotta be, man. Like, in working, I can't imagine working working remote has always been something that, like, a personal fear of mine, because I like never really got. It's crazy. I work in film and I deal with electronics all the time, but like doing it for work at home, I was like, I don't know if I want to bring that into my home or not, because like,
yeah,
I like that space to be for what it is, type stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. I know it's cheesy, but I'll always tell people, like, when I still had my my house, I was like, nothing beats washing clothes and working at the same time, man. I was like, nothing beats it. Nothing beats it.
Can't be washing clothes, man, at the same time. I'm gonna dig that. I can dig that. So like, well, you already kind of answered one of those questions. I was gonna ask you like, what type of challenges do you face? But it's like, shoot, I had a dog for 17 years, so I can respect. I respect the grind, bro. It's a lifestyle. So
yeah.
What other type of challenges did you run in? Do you usually run into like with the transmission? We use that as an example. Like, what was that process like, and then how did you overcome it?
Man, it was crazy. I knew something was up with the van. I had just been traveling up and down the East Coast at that time on the weekends. And so I knew something was going on because all of a sudden I couldn't drive over 65 miles an hour without the van being weird.
Yeah, I've been
there. So
there.
I knew something was going on, but I'm not a mechanical person, so I didn't know what,
Facts.
So I just kept traveling up and down the East Coast. But then when I decided I was going to go to California, I was like, I need to get this looked out. I need to get it looked into and see what it is.
Facts.
So they looked into it, and then they called me back, and they're like, "It's the transmission," and I'm like, "Oh."
Did you have warranty?
I was expecting it to be something small. No, man.
Bro, yeah.
I guess we could go all the way back and be like, just buying the van was a lemon water situation because I got wrapped up with a shady dealer.
Okay.
I got wrapped up with a shady dealer, and so like it started off in the beginning. I tried to get an old school van. I wanted a Chevy G20.
I feel you.
That's what I wanted.
What was it called? What did you want originally?
It's a Chevrolet. They call it a Chevy G20. So that's what I wanted. Yeah, it's like you saw a lot of people had it in the 90s.
Yeah,
a lot of people had that white one in the 90s.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We had
and it had the wheel on the back.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the one. That's the one. Everybody typically had that white and blue one. So so I wanted one of those. And then I was going to do all of this inside of there, just a small version. But all of the sellers kept either flaking or they didn't have a title, or you get there and the title's in somebody else's name. So it was just a lot of weird stuff.
Right.
So I ended up saying, all right, I'm not going to deal with that. We'll go to a dealer, thinking I wouldn't have to deal with anything shady.
Oh, bro, yeah, good luck.
And so, And so I went to a used dealer, and I had to have the van because it was a good price. And it was like this size. And I was scared to get something small, but I was like, oh man, I got to have it. So I got it. And then it just ended up being one thing after the next, man. And then,
you telling my story.
Yo, it was crazy.
You on a whole nother level. I can add to it. I don't want to cut in. I'm liking what you're telling me because you really are. Yeah, keep it going.
It's crazy, man. It was just one thing after another, man. And so it was just like, I think the biggest thing was I had a warranty.
Yeah.
But then I called the warranty people for some reason. I can't remember why now, but I called them, and then I find out that the warranty that they signed me up for didn't fit this van. So I'm like, so what did I pay for?
Right.
And so, I'm pressing the dealership now, like, okay, I want my bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want my bread at least if I can't get the warranty.
Yeah, dude.
And so it was like, oh, I know what it was. The brakes had went out. As soon as I bought the van, the brakes had started going out. Dude. And so I tried to use the warranty. And then that's when I found out that they had put me in the wrong one. That's exactly what happened. So I called, and I ended up getting my money back. But then now it's been 2 years, I still don't have a warranty. So all of the stuff that I've done to the van, I've had to do out of pocket. But it's like, I'm already in it now.
Yeah, facts. You can't get out either.
There's no turning back now.
I can connect with you on that. Like, I have a 2005 Chevrolet Avalanche, and that's like my everydayer, right? So it's raggedy as hell for the most part, but like it was my first truck. Like I always wanted a truck. Before that, I had like 5 or 6 cars, like Crown Vics, Oldsmobiles. Like I'm an old school kind of guy. Like I like older shit.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. Like people ask why, and I'm like, well, it's the feel of it. It smells different. Cars before that were made from metal, like have like a personality to them or something like that make you feel like it's more of a machine, but you still have like yes. So if somebody hits you, they fucked up. Like not you.
I had an Oldsmobile. My first car was an '85 Oldsmobile. So I know what you mean. Yeah, my first car was an '85 Oldsmobile. Yeah. No lie, that was my first car in high school.
Yeah, bro. You gotta have the old schools, man. Like and I went through exactly what you said. I bought mine. I bought it from a shady dealer. It looked good. I looked at it on Car Guru and I read all the stuff and researched and all this. And I always wanted a Chevy. My granddaddy had like Chevy trucks and stuff like that. And so like I wanted one, you know what I'm saying? And so like long story short, my brakes went out. The brake caliper system had to be completely replaced. That was like $980. Like this is week 3 of having the truck. So,
oh my goodness.
yeah, bro, like I drive to Memphis like to visit my girlfriend, my now wife, and I'm like, you know, everything was straight, but then I started having issues in Memphis, and then I came back home, and then, you know, it's just one thing after another. Like I probably put like, I call myself trying to get a steal and buying a truck for like 10.5, right? I bought it for 10.5. I probably put 10.5 into it to like fix.
Right. That's why I was like, I stopped counting. But it's like,
yeah.
At first I was like, man, I've basically built a whole new van at this point.
Dude. And that's the same thing. Like with me, it's like I practically have a brand new old truck. It's just got old truck in right? Like it's like, oh yes. You're like, damn, Tech, how you just riding up and down the road in this old motherfucker? And I'm like, it's new for real. I was like,
oh, this is new. I promise you, this is new.
Like I have like the utmost confidence, and so what it taught me was it reaffirmed my understanding, like cognizance or whatever, of like just because something looks one way, it doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying? Like it can look brand new, but it can have old ass problems, and vice versa.
It's tough because you want to give people that benefit of the doubt, but it's like, when you yourself are a good person, you still have to realize it's a thin line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they know they were selling something that had issues. They knew that. You know what I'm saying? And you're going into it thinking, oh, well, they would let me know or
facts.
Have a good warranty, but it's like, nope.
And people just like, you know what I'm saying? And they'll do you like that. And it's like those kind of things continue to happen in life. But it's like you seem to have found like some kind of zen or something about it. Like, I mean, yeah, you sure experience, of course you experience like trying hard times or whatever and stuff like that. Like, what do you do to stay zen, man? Like I checked out the playlist. I was listening to it more so this morning as a fanboy. I was just I'm fucking with this. I don't know why I didn't listen to this earlier, but it's nice.
It's some bops up there, man. Yeah, man. I think definitely the music is definitely one. Like, I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't really listen to like a lot of mainstream music right now because it's just like, I don't know, it makes me anxious, man. It's just like, it's
noise.
Good stuff, but at the same time, it's just a lot of noise, and it just really just gets the energy really pumping. So it's like, I really like to listen to a lot of those, you know, underground artists and a lot of mixes and stuff like that. So that's why I love SoundCloud. You know what I'm saying? You could just start with one song and then, you know, exactly. Yeah, man. So the music is definitely key for me. Outside of that, just trying to find the good in everything. I mean, I don't immediately feel zen when something happens. You know, I'll freak out like everybody else, but then it's just trying to find that silver lining. Like, I'm always like, what can I learn here? What could have I done differently?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So I mean, I think that's been the main thing for this and me, you know, for me. So it's like each time something's happened, that's what I've tried to do, you know, just try to recalibrate and be like, you know, like I said, what could I do differently next time to avoid this situation or to be prepared? So.
I see the crystals, man. So like what walk me through that. Like I have some tourmaline and stuff in the living room. Well, I got one in each window sill in my house, so I try to let the sun charge it and stuff like that. But what's
man, it's something I've been growing into, man.
Huh?
Yeah, it's something I've been growing into lately, like the last year or so, man. It's pretty cool. I got this one as a birthday gift last year. It's
nice.
Clear quartz, and it's clear quartz wrapped in copper. And so copper is supposed to like really help with like it's like stabilizing the energy in your body. And I don't know whether it's true or not, but it's supposed to also, some of the copper is supposed to like in very small amounts seep into the skin, and that's supposed to be like helpful and you know, and stuff. So obviously there's a better way to explain that, but just off the top of my head, that's all I can think of.
No, that's fair.
So most of the stones and the things that I try to wear, like they all like kind of serve the same purpose. You know what I'm saying? So copper and clear quartz kind of do the same thing. So that's why I kind of like, you'll always see me with copper, clear quartz. My earrings are copper. My ring is copper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I just got the stone in the ring is obsidian.
Okay.
And so that's just really helping with like, just clearing that consciousness and just really being able to just tap in, you know what I'm saying, to source and to that other dimension, and just being able to, you know what I'm saying, just being able to hear God and stuff like that. So that's a new one I just added to the collection. But definitely copper and clear quartz are my thing for sure.
Oh yeah, facts. So how do you feel about like meaning, speaking of like tapping into like different dimensions and stuff like that? Like I pray and meditate myself. My meditation has been like trash lately. I ain't gonna flex. Like,
bro, me too, bro. I ain't even gonna chat. My prayer been on point. My meditation has been trash. So I guess I pray one for the other.
My prayer has started to get more. I've been going too much, bro. Like I just been like, I need to like pray today. I need to like,
yeah.
But like, what do you think about like ancient medicines like psilocybin and like stuff like that? Do you feel like that helps? Is that something that how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like that helps and it can work with travel and stuff like that, or is it more of a hindrance, or what do you think?
Well, I haven't really explored those, but I know for me, I don't typically I don't really do like Western medicine. So that is my thing, but I haven't explored like a lot of the other ones. So I'll do like sea moss. Sea moss is definitely a big thing for me. I keep that in the fridge. Yeah, I keep sea moss in the fridge. But I think what are we talking about there? I think for me, I have a plant-based diet. And so I started.
Cool.
Yeah. So I started a plant-based diet 10 years ago now for health reasons. Yeah, for health reasons. And so I had my gallbladder taken out in high school. It just decided to quit on me.
Damn.
Yeah, eating like junk, eating a bunch of junk, and so it just quit on me. So so I just decided to be vegetarian, and then I just progressed, through all of those over time. And so anyway, I just feel like, even if it's not something you commit to like full time or anything like that,
right?
It is still something that is just like when you're lighter, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
I agree.
Energy is lighter than matter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you want to be more light, less matter. Like that's kind of my thing that I kind of tell people. So it's not even about fitting into a label of being vegan or vegetarian. It's none of that for me.
Damn.
It's just about, you know what I'm saying? That goal is about trying to be more light and less matter. So like now that it's hot, I do a lot of fasting. So eating is not really a priority for me. You know what I'm saying? When it's hot. And so it's just kind of like, so stuff like fasting and, not eating a lot of like meat and just, things like that, dairy and stuff like that. I feel like that helps me spiritually and stuff as well. I'm not the healthiest vegan. So when I am eating all of the processed food and stuff like that, I honestly feel like I feel cloudy and like really like mentally foggy the same way I did when I ate meat. So it's like, it's really just about that being intentional and taking care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? That it just, exactly, you know what I'm saying? That it really just opens up the mind for you to really be able to, hear and tap in and stuff.
Yeah.
I think like that diet, man.
I've been vegan. No, hold on. I was vegan for like a year and a half or somewhere in there. And I will say I lost 117 pounds. I was acting like I did have health problems, like mostly like mental stuff. It'd be like cloudy, irritable, didn't really have a lot of patience and stuff like that. And so I kind of just had like this aha moment that maybe I would need to fast or whatever. But I got into boxing. And so in a nutshell, and I love it. Like that's the only exercise I really want to do, like going forward. Between that and like calisthenics, like stuff that you can do without the need of external things, unless you see a heavy ass rock, and you like go fuck with the rock and just see if I can sit with that, like minimal. And it kind of speaks to what your lifestyle. That's where I kind of made a lot of connections. Was like, okay, I like to travel. I like to be minimal with most things. If I wasn't like married, I probably would have done something like what you're doing more, but it's like, you really got to get outside of your mind. And it's like, it's crazy how you can create like the labyrinth, and the labyrinth is whatever you develop, like an algorithm, like your own personal algorithm for yourself. And the stuff that you just keep like eating it's deeper than like actual food that you eat and stuff like that. Like, I mean, the food definitely makes a difference though. Like you said, your gallbladder quit on you. I used to get sick all the time. I had to get my tonsils taken out, my adenoids removed, a whole lot of stuff. I mean, tonsils is like a common thing, but it's like, I feel like it shouldn't be a common thing for you to get removed.
It's a lot of stuff that's common that shouldn't be common. Yeah.
And then the Western medicine thing, like you talking about too, man, like that was one of the, when I first like officially started this show, I was like hard ass vegan at that point. I was like 100%, like I was in, and like I had, I don't know, it was like this undying focus that I had. And then, you know, life comes in and you make a decision and then you kind of go with stuff. And then, man, I've been messing with chicken and all kind of stuff. But I do but there are some things I will not go back to. Like I will not go back to beef. I will not go back to pork straight up. I probably had pork infused greens or something like that. But I haven't eaten.
Yeah, I had a small period over the last 10 years. I think I switched back to vegetarian because I was starting to, this was before the whole sea moss craze. So I was starting to feel like malnourished. Like I was starting to feel like I was missing something.
It's true.
I would tell people, it's so funny. Like I couldn't describe it. I would be like, you know how like when dogs just randomly eat grass, people would be like, what? I'd be like, that's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
I'd be like I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't know what to do.
Facts.
So anyway, so I was like, I just can't see myself, like you said, eating beef or like pork. I was like, I just can't see it. And I was like, I couldn't really see chicken either. But like, so I tried like shrimp and fish for like, I don't know, maybe like 2 weeks. And then I was just like, man, I can't do this.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Because it will slow you down.
I was like, I was like, I can't do this. And so I hadn't eaten meat in years. So I think I found out about like the vegan protein powders had started coming out at that time. So I started getting on those, and then that kind of leveled me out. But so yeah, I feel you. I mean, it happens sometimes.
Yeah, man. Facts. Like, for sure. Like, it definitely happening right now. I need to get it together. Cause wait, bro. Like, I was like, if you go look at some of the older shows that I got on here, like, I look better. Like, I was like, oh man, he really was small. Like, and so when I look at myself now, I'm like, damn, I done blew up again. What the fuck? Like, I'm just,
bro. I'm the same way. When I started this, I was in the best shape of my life. Now, not so much.
Well, I mean, you gotta. Are you in a relationship?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a girl, she gonna cook, and then you got, I might do stuff, or I don't know. You know how it is, and then it's like you might have a, like when you get off work, you might have do you have weekends? Like, what's your Monday through Friday look like?
Well, it's pretty random right now,
right?
But it's honestly, like, that's not even flexing. Like, honestly, it is really random right now. Like, I'm at a rest stop right now. I stopped so we could chat.
I thoroughly appreciate it. But when you worked it out last night, I was like, well, yeah. I was like, I thought at the time, I was like, this might be kind of late, but I didn't know where you were gonna be in the So I was like, if it's Pacific,
I hadn't even thought about it, man.
Bro, it shot me too, and I was like, I'm glad I re-looked, because I was like, oh damn, it is late. I was like, that's an hour.
And see, the only reason it ended up being late was because like I go to bed so early because I get up really early.
Okay.
So it's like I might be asleep by like 9 because I'll get up like 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So I'm up 3 a.m. I'm up.
So you said you're at a rest stop now. What's the current travel right now? Like, where to, and what's the reasoning behind that?
Yeah. So basically, so I'm polyamorous. I always have to drop that in every interview, which means I tend to have more than one partner at a time. And with that, my van is my primary residence.
Respect.
And then if I have other partners, at the time I only have one.
Right.
But if I have other partners, then I'll visit or live with them, for a few weeks or whatever in between like trips or whatever. And so right now I'm in the area that I'm basically from. So like the Rocky Mount, Tarboro area, I'm just kind of bouncing around right now, visiting friends and stuff like that, because I've just been back on the East Coast a few months. I was in California for the last part of 2021.
Nice.
So I've just been back over here visiting friends and, family and catching up. So I'm just hanging out, just bouncing around right now.
Nice.
So it's honestly really random. I just finished up a trip doing some of the northern states.
Okay.
So I just went to a state park this morning.
Yeah.
I got up and went to a state park. And I really don't know. I'll probably have some lunch after this. And man, I don't know, man. It's just I literally just play it by ear, and that's like.
Dope.
But that was really good for me though, because that just kind of goes into like one of the big things of why I wanted to go into this lifestyle.
Yes.
Because it was like I needed to be able to slow down. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like I was always moving so fast. Like
I agree.
I always needed to know what's the next thing. I always needed to just basically be in control. And so it's like now this lifestyle allows me to be able to set it up to where like I don't have to know what happens next. So like when people ask like you said, what's your schedule? I really don't know because I've
really don't know.
I've chosen to set it up that way. So that way it's like, you know, I suffer from anxiety and things like that. And so van life has been one of the tools that I've used to work on my mental health.
Okay.
And so things like this I call it planning, but not planning. So like, for example, I have water, I have food, I have clothes, I have everything in here I need.
Yeah.
So I don't really need to plan every step.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I can plan enough not to die. That's what I always say. I plan enough not to die.
Make it to the next stage,
you know
see how it goes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of like, so then with that allows you to be able to trust yourself.
Yeah.
So that way, kind of like when we were talking about keeping that zen. So it's like when situations do come up, it allows you to be able to know that you can handle this.
Right.
But versus before, because I had never created any opportunities to know whether I could or not, I just immediately felt like I couldn't. And so I would just result to freaking out.
Yeah, you're right. I still do.
What I'm saying?
I still do that now, bro. You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be transparent as hell with you right now, man. Look, I have been lately. I've been like, it's just been like that.
Yes.
And I've been like out here shooting shit. People like, yeah, we'll do the interview. Yeah, we do that. Yeah. And I'm like, at the same time, bruh, like when I was like fucking vegan and I had got like real minimal on all the shit that I was doing. Everything was like righteous. Now there were some things that I felt that I was missing as far as like, you know, what I needed to get jobs done or stuff like that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to add some things now, but then it's just the stuff that you have to do to like stay in line with yourself. Like if it's journaling, like I do that a little bit. Walking, like people underestimate how good a walk is. Like you went to a park this morning, bro. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So what is it? Stretching, boxing is my thing, but just exercise. Like walking is an exercise, but just spending time in nature. But the big thing is getting in that sun, because the sun.
Yes, bro. It's a recharge for real, man. I went out there just sitting in today, man. It really just charged you up. And it's really key about making it a priority to do all those things you named. So it's like making it a part of your routine, and it feels silly, but it's like, yeah, like that's part of my routine to do all that stuff you mentioned, like to stretch, you know, to journal. Like I had to make it like a to-do to make sure it actually gets done.
I agree.
You know?
And you touched on something when you talked about mental health. We talked about mental health twice already. But like I checked out your See It In feature, and I read up on everything. And then like one quote that you said, a couple. The first one stuck out. It said, I think the importance of community and how much being alone on the road for long periods of time can take a toll on your mental health isn't discussed enough. So like, yeah, like get into that. Like for somebody I'm always trying to learn more about mental health, but what exactly, to someone that's never traveled before, how do you feel it can help and hurt somebody? You know what I'm saying? Kind of get into that.
Definitely. I'm writing a guide that's going to come out soon. Shout out to Diversified Van Life.
Nice.
We're going to be doing a guide with them. We're going to be partnering together. It's all about like mental health, and I'm going to really go in detail on that there. But really, man, I really started to like talk about that because I feel like even if you don't have like a history of mental illness or anything like that, I feel like the isolation that is in this lifestyle could affect anybody. And so when I was just traveling up and down the East Coast, I never really thought about it because I was typically going like for a specific amount of time, like everything was planned out, or either I was going to see someone or something like that. But versus when when it's like, okay, I've sold my home, I've sold all of my possessions, And at the time, I had 2 partners, and they both live on the East Coast. And now I'm about to drive 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
It was all good until I got to about Texas. So that's about 1,000 miles from North Carolina. But then I started picking fights. I was just like, and then it was like, why am I picking fights with this? Why am I feeling catty right now? But it was just like, and then it was just like, I just felt like my mental health was literally starting to deteriorate as I was getting further and further away, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so it was just this thing of like the time difference.
Yeah.
That was really weird. So like, for example, it started being this issue of when I got off work, it was about time for everyone on the East Coast to go to bed.
Yeah.
So there was this really small window to where so honestly, they didn't know about it, but I would choose between eating and talking to them because there wasn't enough time between that gap.
That's tough.
Of the time difference. And it was just like, I didn't know what to do. So it was just like, it just kept being, so it was like, and the time difference was changing every couple of days because I'm driving across.
You're driving
so
through.
It was like, so it was like, when it was the same, it was all good. But then once I hit Texas, it went back an hour. Okay, it's cool. But then I was just like, man, I'm 1,000 miles away. I can't get back so easily now, you know?
Yeah.
But then it was like, okay, now the time difference is 2 hours. Now it's 3 hours. And it was just like, okay, if I call, someone might be asleep. I can't get a hold of anyone. And so I started freaking out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I started freaking out. And I tell people I really felt, yeah, man, because I was just like, I felt alone, even though like I was physically alone.
Yeah.
But I had people, but I didn't feel like I did. My mind had convinced me that I was 100% alone.
And then you gave into it. You was like, I am by myself.
Yes. I'm by myself, yes. And so I was being very catty, man. And I just, let's say, hey, you got to own up to your mistakes. That's the only way to grow.
Respect.
But it's just like, yeah, man. So it's just like, that's just like, and I've been on this tip of like, you know, van life hasn't been like really big, but for only a few years. But
yeah, it's been around forever though.
Yeah, but exactly. And I've never heard anyone talk about the mental health side. And so I was just like, I know I'm not the only one. And then as soon as I started talking about it, you know, other people started saying, you know, thank you for talking about this. I was wondering, was other people feel? So I said, okay, people were just scared to talk about it. And I'm just the person, you know.
Just the leader.
I'm not really worried. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Like, I'm like, I don't have anything to lose. I say whatever I want to say. I do whatever I want to do. So I wasn't really worried about that. It was just, I honestly, my platform didn't start with it because I just didn't know it was an issue. I knew I had mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I knew I had mental illness, but I just thought, you know, it would magically make it better. That's what I thought. Yeah. But like I was telling someone the other week, like, for example, you know, like I also have social anxiety. So I thought, okay, you know, you're sitting out at these beautiful places. It would just make it magically go away. But I was like, no, there's times where I still find myself sitting in the van and people watching. I'm like, I'm not going out there.
Yeah, bro.
You know?
I'm like that most days before, like most of the shoots that I have, like I done already talked to, like, let's say if I'm doing a wedding, I've already talked to the bride. I don't really talk to the groom that much. You know, they don't be caring. Like the guys don't really care that much. And that's fine with me. Like if you don't give a shit, it works for me. Cause I'm just like, cool. Cause then that means I can be way more creative and then you can be wild and you know, all that. And then like I'll pull up to shoots, man, and I'll just look at all the people. And they're not really looking at me, but they're like, they're like an avalanche just pulled up. He's just sitting there. And I'm just like trying to get my shit together before I walk in. And then it's like, you just gotta, it's kind of like jumping out of a plane, like 3, 2, 1, go. And then you open the car and then you just jump out and it's like, hey, my name's Triselle. I'm your cinematographer today. We're gonna be working on. And they're like, oh yeah, you the guy. And then like,
you just gotta turn the whole thing on.
Bro, that's the other thing, man, is we talked about that on one of these other episodes. I think it was the vegan flower child episode. Mercedes talked about being on a lot. And then another one was with Shambria, and she talked about we talked about being off work, and that wasn't really the premise of the whole episode, but I was like, being off is something that we have to relearn as individuals. So that way, even for like our partners and all that shit, like we got to turn ourselves off so we can just be off for like 2 hours, or maybe it's 8 hours when you sleep, because sometimes when you're asleep, you're not really asleep. You're just like, you passed out because you did shit all day long. And then you kind of go to sleep and wake up and you're not even really refreshed for real.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you're not rested. Yeah.
Man, and then you talked about like social anxiety. I suffer from a little bit of that. I've gotten a lot better with it over time, but it's like reading stuff like that, exercise to do it. The quote I caught from your article was, what did you say? You said, it's a balancing act between learning how to be social and living with fewer attachments to people and things. So like, get into that. Like, what was one of the first things you realized detachment, and one of the first people? Like, what was that like?
Oh man. Well, before I started doing van life, I started focusing on like my finances, getting my finances in order and stuff like that. Before, and it wasn't like, I could tell it like it was a stepping stone, but honestly, it had nothing to do with it.
Wow.
You know, so it was literally, I was focusing on getting my finances in order. Okay. And so I cut my bills all the way down into a minimal point. And I had no point. I thought about getting a van in college.
Yeah.
Because I always tell people that's the start of my van life story. 2014, I had a period of homelessness. I was homeless my senior year of college.
Okay.
And so I had thought about getting an RV. I saw one on Craigslist.
All right.
But the girl I was talking to at the time convinced me not to get it.
Oh my God, yeah.
For whatever reason,
Respect.
I was her the benefit
I've been through it.
For whatever reason.
I've been through it.
So I didn't get it because I was like, okay, maybe it is a little crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
So I just, pushed it in the back of my mind. So anyway, I was, like I said, paying down debt and, just getting rid of bills and stuff like that. So then after that, I started selling stuff.
Yeah.
So I sold my car, I sold my motorbike, I sold a lot of stuff. I have random DJ equipment and just all of this different stuff, man. So I sold like all of that stuff. And so, like I said, it just all lined up because it wasn't like a plan. So it was like by the time I got the van, I was already ready to go because I got rid of everything.
Yeah.
Before I had even decided to get it,
Clean slate.
So, yeah. So I guess that first thing was just starting to sell my stuff. And I tell people it was, it's like everybody says that they don't care what other people think.
Yeah.
But I tell them, go sell something that has a status symbol attached to it. Like, go sell your car or go sell your house, and then let me ask you that again. Because I've never really cared. I've never really folded to peer pressure. Like, I've never been that person.
Right.
So it was just like when I started selling my stuff, even though nobody asked, I was thinking like, I wonder what are people gonna think if they see me selling my stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Or I wonder what are people gonna think if I have a motorbike. Yeah, because I was like, I've never cared or thought about what people think. But then once I started selling my stuff, I started thinking but then it was like, once I started selling it and the stuff was selling so fast, I don't know why. But
bro, you probably felt light as hell. You probably felt super light.
Yeah, that was the thing. I started feeling lighter, and then I'm looking around my house, and so then we switched up the whole house design. We went with a minimalist design inside the house because I told us about everything. So we decided to play it up. Yeah,
living in a van before you were living in a van. You were like, all right.
Basically, yeah. And so I was just selling my stuff, but like workout equipment, like I sold all of that stuff. And so like I said, I got my finances right. I sold all that stuff, and then once I decided I was going to California, that was about a year later.
Yeah.
I sold the house. And so that was
that probably gave you like a ton, because right now, I mean, what did you sell it in the height of the everybody trying to buy a house time, like, when it got real thick?
Yeah, okay. Basically, yeah. Gotcha. And so it was just a big milestone, just even outside of money. Like, it was a really big milestone, like a full circle, because it was like I said, my life has just always been this thing where like God's just really like guiding my steps. So it's like I could really tell it like I've planned all of this, but it just happens. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
So it's like we bought the house with no money down, and then I sold it with no money. So I didn't bring any money to the table to buy the house or to sell it.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, yep, both times. So it's just like it's
Service
just been a
purpose.
fluid thing, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just how, you know, like, and life hasn't been perfect. It's been a lot of down, but it's like when I have those periods of up, it's just like so aligned. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I'm saying?
Early.
So that was the biggest thing, you know what I'm saying? Just selling my house. Because we got it right after I had graduated from college. I had just did a post about that. I graduated college early.
Nice.
And so I finished college at 20 and I didn't know what else to do. So I bought a house.
Brainiac. So, okay, yeah. Wow. How did you, so talk about a little bit about that. Like, I'm all over the place, man. It's so much information.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah.
You finished it.
I'm an interesting guy.
Right. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like the brain. Like, so.
Yeah. No, so I went to a school. They used to be private when I went, but they're public now. But I went to, it's called an early college. And so it's basically a charter school situation where you do high school and the first 2 years of college at the same time.
Nice.
So that way it's like you're getting all of that beginning stuff, that math, that reading, science, all that stuff. You graduate high school, go to college and start over and take again.
Yeah.
We're doing that simultaneously. And some of the classes trade out. That's what makes it, that's why you can do it.
That's fire.
So like, for example, I took, I didn't take a lot of high school histories. I took the college history. And so they just
all the same history.
Yeah, because it's the same shit. Yeah, it's the same stuff. So then once I got to college, I didn't have to take them over. So once I got to college, I was a junior. So I was only like, So like I was only like 18 or so. So that's why when I graduated 2 years later, I was 20. So I was, you know what I'm saying? So I was only in college 2 years. Looking back, I wish I had stayed the other two. Like just like, I don't know. I talk to like my other friends that I'm still connected to, and it's just this thing of like, you're not prepared that you're an adult so fast. Cause it's like,
I see.
A year ago, we were walking in line. And then now a year later, I'm working in corporate America. I'm paying taxes.
Yeah, it's real.
I got a house. You see what I'm saying? Like it comes so fast when you do that program. So that's my only complaint, literally. That's it. So it's like, because you can graduate so early, you're just thinking about, because that's the whole push, that you can go and be an adult and you can graduate so fast. But like, if I had known like that there's so much to being an adult, like, I probably would have took that. I probably would have took that other 2 years, like, to just have a good time or to learn some stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it all worked out. You know, it all worked out.
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody's journey is everybody's journey. Like my thing, I did high school. I did the regular way. Like, but I wasn't really a problem child. I just was very social. I would talk to people. I'm failing classes. I don't want to go to school, bro. I don't even want to be in school. I don't even know what I'm doing here. You know how you're born, and then the next thing you know, you're 5, and the next thing you know, you're 10, and you're like, okay, at one point I was actually 5. That's crazy. You think back or whatever, and then like fast forward to high school, college. I take forever to finish. I just couldn't get my shit together, so to speak. But like looking back, I always say I would have taken more time. So I feel you when you say you wish you could have got those 2 years back or something. Like I hear you, because like I would have stayed. I wish that I would have taken a break from college. Like I was in that bitch for like 7 years, and like I was like chasing somebody else's dream, and like the family, we all went to school here. So, and it's like, it's not like I had to go there, but I didn't like, that was one of those things we talked about the mind earlier. That was one of those things that like shut my mind down a little bit, and I allowed it to, because it was safe. Like it was like, you know, America, how they do shit, and they'd be like, oh, you know, you want to go here, and then you go here, and then it's like, yeah, but what about me though? Like, where's my shit? You know what I'm saying? And dude, that's just
that's been a big thing for me too. Like I felt like before I started doing the van life thing, it's just like I felt like that's what my life had been about. You know what I'm saying? Just doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, school came naturally for me. So it was like, it was easy to do. Yeah. But it was still like, you know, my parents were very strict. So it was like, I had to get certain grades. So it was like, even though it was still easy to do, it was still an extremely high expectation. So it was just like, honestly, it was like the finishing early and all that stuff. I just wanted to get it over with because I was tired of the expectation.
You wanted to
so because I had the ability to do it faster, I was like, I'm gonna do this thing as fast as I can so I can get it done. I gotta wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
It's like literally, so it's like finance and doing finance and all of that was literally like you said, just doing what was safe. Because it's like doing like art and traveling, the video, like photography, like that was my first love. Music, that all of that stuff was my first love and my passion.
Right.
But I was like, man, I feel like I need to choose something safe. And so that's what the last decade of me, the last decade of my adulthood has been being safe. So it's kind of like now I've been moving back into that creative space now.
Good.
In this next decade of my life.
So now you know how to. So that's how you pretty much make your money. Because that's one of the questions I was like, well, how do you make money? Like, what I see the photography. That's the main bag, isn't it? Like travel photography and having online prints available and stuff.
Yeah. So that's a big thing. Because my portfolio is always growing. Because I'm always going somewhere.
Facts.
And so I sell them in varying sizes and stuff like that. So that's a big thing. But my biggest thing right now is like I've been moving into the influencer space. My page had a big boom a couple months ago. So
so
I've been moving into like, man. So I've been moving into like, brand partnerships and stuff like that. So it's been fun, man. It's a whole new world. I used to do YouTube back in the day when I was in high school. So it's like, just like connecting with people and stuff like that, like that's not new, or making videos, like that's not new. But just like the whole influencer piece, like that's brand new because it wasn't really like that back in the day. So it's like,
bro, it wasn't at all.
Yeah, it was just like
we 4 years
having
apart.
a talk show, kind of. Yeah, that's how it was back in the day. But it's like now it's like, wow, it's a whole industry now. So it's been a lot of fun though.
I'm gonna get with you on that because I got a lot of questions. Like whatever you're willing to answer, I have like a lot of questions about that. We talk about that off camera. But man, dude, I mean, did you have any questions for me? I feel like I just kind of like bombarded you with all that. I was just really interested. I'm still interested. I have like so much more.
No.
But like,
no, I'm good, man. Now we can keep rocking. No, I'm good.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, so like one of the main things, other things that I saw, and we'll get ready to get out of here in a little bit because I know we got to wrap it. But I saw that you have storyteller on your like the one thing I liked about your profile was it said less bios, more life. I'm fucking with that off rip. I'm just like, yeah, this dude cool. I was just like,
yeah, because I got caught up in that like everybody else, where it's like you got this whole mini biography thing going on, where it's like you're listing all of your accomplishments, and I'm just like, so it's like I had all of that stuff up until like, I don't know, sometime last year, and then I was just thinking like, man, like I really do this. Like I don't have to cap in my bio. I don't have to like try to flex. Like, if you look at the stuff, I do it, and if you don't think I do, then fine. I can't. There's no way I can convince you. So it's just kind of like I don't need to flex. Like I'm not interested in flexing. Like this is just the life I've chosen, and I'm having a good time. And that's why I just chosen to share. So that goes into the storyteller thing. Right. I originally just started sharing like because it's fun, like making reels is fun. And I honestly, that is literally the only reason this page started. This was my regular page at first. And then once I started doing the van bill, I was just sharing it with my friends so they could see I was doing something cool because I'm always doing something random.
Yes.
So I was just trying to show them the new random thing I'm doing because everybody's moved around, And so then once I started hitting the road and traveling, it just started growing. Each time I would go to a trip, like the page would kind of like double. Each time I would go and come back.
Fire.
So it was just kind of like, but so I honestly, I had never thought about trying to do the influencer thing. Like I said, I was just trying to share because before traveling, I had never really been anywhere outside of the state, like right around here.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of just sharing to show people.
When you leave.
Yeah. So
even
so it was just showing people.
Like, I tell people all the time, like I used to argue with this cat. I used to work at Walmart. Everybody probably worked at Walmart at least once, but I used to work there, and this dude was like adamant about staying in Huntsville. Huntsville, Alabama is where I'm from. I currently reside in Birmingham, Alabama, but I travel all over the fucking place for like work and when we want to get on the road, we just do shit, you know, when we get a chance.
Yeah.
But like in a nutshell, I was arguing with him that it was imperative that he leave Huntsville at some point to just do something. I was like, dude, even if you go to Birmingham, like just go somewhere for like a day and come back in the same day. He was like, no, Huntsville is what I like and all that shit. And then it taught me a lot about energies and shit. And I was just like, I got to quit fucking with people that don't like, and then they take it personal, and it's like, take it personal, because like, I need to be around people that are doing stuff with their time. That's like,
man.
You feel me? Like,
yeah, I feel you. Like, it's not like people, it's like, for example, I unfollow like a ton of people.
Same.
And I know like some people took it personally, but I just had this thing where I'm just like, I do not want my thoughts or my moves to be influenced.
That's right.
By like anybody's nonsense right now. Right. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be focused.
So it's just like, yeah, man. So I was probably following maybe like 700 or 800 people. Now I'm following like 200. It was just like, you know, it was just too much. It was just too much noise. You know what I'm saying? Too much noise. And when you have all of that, you have to be careful, because you don't know whether your thoughts are your own or not. Because you could just be agreeing. You see what I'm saying? Because it's so much noise all the time. So like, for example, I could go to my page right now and then go to it 10 minutes later, and it hasn't refreshed because nobody's posted, because I only follow 200 people.
That's right.
But when I followed 800 people, it was always refreshing. So I was basically always being told something else to think.
Damn.
Another way to feel. You know, like, no lie, like not even trying to be in deep. So it's like, you might even find yourself starting arguments with people, or you might find yourself thinking, well, do I really like that? Or just questioning yourself, because it's just too much noise. So it was like, I was like, I gotta quiet the noise, man. So, you know, I unfollowed a ton of people, and so that's been really helpful, like you said. Yeah, but and then I was like that too. Like, maybe not as hard as that guy, but I was like that too. Right. Like my area code is 252, and so like everybody that's from here says, like, you know, it's like 252, like that's our thing. So it's like,
they say 256.
Yeah, so it's like, if you're from the 252, you don't want to leave. This is home. But like I said, after leaving, I did miss it, and I did appreciate certain things about it that I never noticed before.
Absolutely.
But it still gave me another perspective that I noticed when I came back. Certain people that I used to deal with, it is a little harder to deal with now, because it's just like, and it's not like you feel like you're better or anything like that.
Nah,
it's just,
man, never that.
You see the world differently.
Facts.
You see the world differently now.
Hell, you went out into the world. The fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and honestly, I noticed it the other way around, because people started acting differently towards me.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest thing I started noticing, where it's like, I came back and tried to reconnect like I had never left.
Yeah.
You know, and these were people I was talking to, you know, the whole time.
Oh, you were doing it,
Yeah, but I came back, and like, I haven't really been able to get in touch with a lot of people that were supposed to be my friends and my family, support system, all the stuff. Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate. That's the only thing I can say. It's unfortunate, but it's like, you know, that's one of the things you learn too when you go and explore, that some people, you know what I'm saying, can only be around you when they feel like y'all are at the same level, or if they feel like they're higher than you sometimes. So it's just like, going out and seeing other things give you perspective on a whole lot of stuff.
Facts.
You know?
Facts.
So for sure.
You reteach yourself a lot of stuff that you innately learned at some point. It's like you get to finally utilize all these things that you've been gathering like over time or whatever. And that's important. Like, that's what life is about. I feel like America in particular is like real big on consumerism. Like, they want you to just consume a whole bunch of shit, and you just like have a lot of stuff, but then you don't really have any purpose for your acquisition. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so like,
I feel that.
Yeah, we good, bro. Like, we good at getting back to minimalizing stuff. Is just another version of fasting. So it's like,
yeah,
you kind of doing away with stuff. It's time for you to let go of something, like this raggedy ass computer that I have. But it's allowing me to do this show. But it's like, it's time. It's probably just time for me to figure. It's not really raggedy. It's just crap. It's just old. But like, a lot of stuff like that is like that in our lives, and we don't for some reason we don't want to let go of it. We have to explore like why we don't want to let go of something, and then like really get to the root on where it's coming from. I really like what you said about the profile thing with like you said your page would refresh on its own type stuff. I really like that because that algorithm stuff, it is the same thing like energy, attract energy. It's like life, and so they just found a way to use an electronic piece to show you again. Well, I mean, all the shit that you're saying that you like I try to tell my younger ones, I'm just like, well, what do you like? And they just got like ass and titties, like all over the profile. And I'm like, yeah, I remember that. I went through that. It's cool. Yeah. Like you have a little bit of it here and there, but it's like, I was like, you're going to want to like cut some of that in half. Cause like after a while, like if you can't open your Instagram in public and you trying to like do something for business, you got an issue.
That's the problem. Yeah. So man. I try to follow things that like inspire me, but even sometimes still you have to
be overwhelming.
Sometimes even having exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. So it's like I try to have like a good mix of like if it's people that are in this space that I'm in, people's pages that might be a little smaller than mine, you know, and then people that are outside of this niche that might be a little bigger, but not too big to where I feel like the need to try to chase or try to compete or anything like that, because sometimes that's just a natural emotion or occurrence because you might feel like you're not doing enough or just today's hustle culture.
That's me right now, bro.
You got to keep up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man, it's been really beneficial cutting that number down, man. Because like I said, I really see not just what I like, I see things that really inspire me. You know what I'm saying? And make me really think. Not just what I like. Because things that what you like is like what you like right now. And I'm not going to always like the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, kudos to you, man, for you doing all the stuff that you've done honestly led me to you for real. Because like, I mean, I went on the trip. I did the thing. It was stressful. I had issues. Dude, man, had a lot of stuff going on too. But it's like, you know, I was like, bro, we'll figure it out. I was like, we out here. You flew me out here to Utah. Like, bro, I'm here. Let's just figure it out. And it was kind of just like that, like the whole time. Yeah. But like seeing your page and then like the crystals, like that's a part of my life. And then like the shit, the travel, that's a part of my life. And then he was like storytelling, that's a part of my life. Like I get that shit from my granddad. So it's like a lot of those things kind of made me feel like I was like, I'm gonna just reach out. Cause I honestly have anxiety around reaching out to people that you know, they have a large following. Cause I've just been interested in people's stories, and that like I focus heavily on documentaries. Like that's my bag. I love doing everything I shoot is like a documentative feel or whatever.
Yeah. That's my favorite too. I love to watch them, and so making them has always been a dream. To make one has always been a dream. So definitely.
We're gonna have to figure it out at this point, man. We know each other now, so it's
man. No, but I feel you on the being nervous about reaching out and stuff like that. It's funny because like a lot of people like. The page just kind of blew up out of nowhere because it's like I've been doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just, kind of went crazy after I think road trip number 3, it just went crazy.
Right.
But so I get a lot of messages, like people message me, and then when I message back, they're like, "Oh, I didn't expect you to respond." I'm like, I'm a regular person.
That's kind of how I felt. And I told my girl, I was like, he actually said something back. She was like, really? She was like, well, nah, you were genuine when your approach. And I was like, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And that's the thing with me, man. I try to respect genuineness because, like, honestly, no lie. When I first started, like, I'll never forget. I'm not gonna throw them on the bus. I'm not gonna call it what it is. I feel. But I never forget when I first started out. I was building my van.
Yeah.
And there's a van life couple that's really big in this space. Yeah. And so they had like how I'm part of the Amazon influencer program now. Obviously, I wasn't then because I only had like 1,000 followers then.
Nice.
So they were a part of that, and so they had all of the products from their van build listed. And so I bought because I like I picked and choose. So like I like the sink and some different things like that they had. So I bought the stuff thinking that okay, I'm supporting them, and I'm thinking that you will also answer my questions.
Yeah.
Because I've done this, also. So I hit them up because there was like I had bought like the sink, the faucet, the pipe. I bought all the stuff. And I used their link. So they were getting paid a small percentage, but a percentage of everything I was buying.
Right.
And so anyway, one of the pipes wasn't in the cart. So I just hit them up and told them, hey, I love what you guys are doing. you know, I was being genuine. I love what you guys are doing. I watched your stuff, and I bought all of my stuff using your link. I said that in there, and I said, and so the last pipe that I need, it's not in the list. So could you tell me like
what I need to do?
What pipe it? Yeah, what I need to do, because I had never built anything, but I learned from mimicking because I'm on the spectrum.
Yeah.
So if I watch somebody do something, I can repeat it.
Respect.
That's just how my mind works. So I just duplicate what I see.
Okay.
So I was like, you know, can you just tell me? Because I was like, I don't know anything about plumbing, but if you tell me, I can watch a video and figure it out. They literally looked at it and did not respond. They never responded.
Ghosted you.
And so in that moment, I was like, okay, bet. If my page ever blow up, I'm not gonna be like that. So it is very time consuming, but I try my best to respond to every message. Every comment, because it's just like people, sometimes it's stuff like that where people have a question, and then it's other time where it's like people are just being genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just like doing what we're meant to do, you know what I'm saying? Connect and stuff like that. And so it's just like, I enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? So I've met some really great people and made some really good connections, you know, these last couple months in this boom. So yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun.
Yes. So all that has been extremely, I feel like I have gained another brain or part of one, at least to like, or create more space. I'll say for sure, like this show is great for me. It's the first show back in a little while, but like it has created another space and I'm glad you brought your energy on here, man, because like we needed it, you know, and then it's my hope that like with this episode, it will touch a lot of people and help them to expand their minds more as well. Like, you know, get outside of your comfort zone, face your fears. If you're in school, finish school. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you're doing, finish, man. Let everybody know where they can follow you and just whatever you have coming up.
Definitely, man. I had a good time being here. You can stay connected with me on my Instagram at Navod the Nomad. Yeah, man, I got a couple good projects that I can't exactly say what they are yet, but just follow me on Instagram and stay tuned, man.
That's it, man. And man, thank you for coming on again. When life gives you lemons, make lemon water. Peace.
Lemon water. When life gives you lemons, make lemon water.